know, 20 lands, 20 lands, and a bunch of 4-ofs. We have graveyard enablers of Hedron Crab, Stitcher Supplier, Insolent Neonate, Inti, to fill your graveyard up. And then also Solve the Loss is really cool because it's both a graveyard enabler a little bit because you get to sacrifice a permanent. So sacrificing a Supplier fills your graveyard up a lot, or you can discard a card. So you can discard a Vengevine or a Bloodghast or a Basking Rootwalla for some good amount of value. Hopeful that this deck goes well. I do think that the big problem for decks like this is like specifically Sanctifier and Vec. So I decided to try Stern Scolding as anti-Sanctifier tech, and then like 2 Scolding, 2 Edict. We'll see how that goes. Still likely lose to that card a lot. We do have the All Access Curse of events. And then, oh my gosh, fuck. What a start to today's stream, folks. Okay, I didn't get punished. But I think you're supposed to go Steam Vents into Neonate. This way you can play the crab and immediately get the landfall triggers. So we can Vengevine this next turn, which is fun. Esper Sentinel, pretty bad against Umori on creatures, gotta say. I think I'll respond to this just to thin my library a little bit. Doesn't matter a ton. Oh, I'm not supposed to do this though because of Bloodghast. Okay. Sorry, all the heuristics with Crabvine. It's been a while since I played it. We did hit a Bloodghast, but on the second trigger. Alright, so let's discard Vengevine. Cast another Neonate. Get in for 4. Why is meta and 2-player queue different? It is lower stakes, and also like just in general, like competitive players prefer to play leagues. So it's like lower stakes, less competitive, and so people will like playtest really untested jank in there. It's kind of like the environment, which is like, you know, fine place. 1 wonder sounds good. Yeah, you can play a wonder. We added the Umori companion. It's not in the Mox Code. Mox Code's a little out of date already. Oh, they didn't move the Shadow Spear back over. I'm going to go ahead and just now discard the Bloodghast. Okay, drawing Inti for the first time. Another Bloodghast and a Vengevine. Get a basic swamp. Hit a Gravecrawler and a Prized Amalgam. So let me cast Inti. Cast this Gravecrawler, return the Vengevine, bring back the Prized Amalgam, attack with both Vengevines, which triggers the Inti. So I'll discard the Blazing Rootwalla, which triggers the Rootwalla, triggers the Inti to put a counter on a Vengevine, and then I get to exile a card for next turn. Not a bad turn 3. That being said, we're not doing great against my opponent having the card Colossus Hammer or Stoneforge Mystic next turn. They'll next up for 1 turn. Oh, right, sorry. To your next in step. So there's so many of these kind of effects. I've been getting them all mixed up. I mean, if they don't have a hammer, we should likely be winning this next turn. Maybe they can survive. I mean, they have 4 blockers. Maybe that's good enough. I can make this will be a 6/5 trampler. It's probably best to put the counter there. Does this list not support Grief, or is it not synergistic enough? I mean, Grief is a pretty weak card when you're just like evoking it to take a card, brother. You know what I mean? Like it is nice that it like can trigger Vengevine, but that's like more or less all it does as far as like synergies go, which I think is not really where you want to be. Yeah, Shadow Spear on the construct is pretty scary. Let's see. Yeah, probably best to get the. I'm gonna attack with everything, and I'm gonna get the Inti trigger as well. Discard this. Grow the Vengevine, exile the top card, and close my eyes. So this would have them gaining 5 up to 15, taking 10, 12, 15. Math really do be for blockers, yo. Math really do be for blockers. Okay, so this is... We're also bringing the Feed the Swarms here, I think. Maybe over sideboarding. The idea is that we have Stern Scolding for Sanctifier and Sheoldred's Edict for turn 2 Sanctifier. Feed the Swarm. Maybe Feed the Swarm just too bad on the draw. I also am kind of interested in these Furies. Maybe we do something like this. Cut the Gravecrawlers and the Amalgams again. Fury's just like not that good against Hammer these days. It's okay. Let's play 2 copies. Deck Tech traditional Crabvine. Do you want me to just build you traditional Crabvine? Because I'm not going to do that. I'm playing this like updated list now. I don't like this is roughly how I would build Crabvine at the moment. Oh, but you have a Deck Tech. We got the link that's better. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tough because, again, this is like... I really like that Souls of the Lost and Inti are like 2-mana creature-based enablers. They're like big, powerful creatures that synergize with the deck instead of playing Glimpse. Instead of playing Secret Keeper, which has always been kind of mid. I always felt like the Narcomoeba's kind of mid as well. I do kind of... I kind of like only playing 3 Gravecrawlers. I could see that being a good decision, and then wanting to play the 1 Wonder over that in like this build. Ooh, this is going to be a gigantic Souls of the Lost. Hopefully. And if we mill over a Vengevine, we'll be able to go Souls of the Lost, discard Rootwalla, get back Vengevine. Think Ox of Agonis could be good. I think Ox is better than like the Hollow One style build. So I have a build with Ox with the Hollow One synergies. You could play it here also. It would be like reasonable. So if they hammer here, what's kind of fun is there's a good just a Shadow Spear. Okay, so hammer off the Saga. All right, so we're hoping to hit a Vengevine off these 6 mills. We did hit a Bloodghast, which is nice. All right, so 6/7, tiny turn 2 6/7. We'll be actually, it'll be much bigger next turn. Is Cruel Summerphage not playable? No, the fact look, this is a great example of Souls of the Lost. Look at this. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fetch lands in my graveyard. So Souls of the Lost is a 6/7. How good will Cruel Somnophage be? A 1/2. That this is I think a shining example of like why this card is good and interesting, and why Sarnophage is just Garbo. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think I'm down to cut a Gravecrawler for the first copy of Wonder. Certainly would be like particularly good in these kind of matchups. Yeah, 1/1. Yeah, it doesn't have the extra toughness. Yeah, it would be exciting if it was a zombie. It's kind of sad because this is a spirit, not a vampire spirit. I feel like it could have been a vampire spirit so easily. New Dreadboard would be a good sideboard card in this deck. Maybe. Would be good on this board for sure, Z's. Doesn't make a ton of lore sense. Right on time, Stern Scolding. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Maybe this is always going to be just too tough of a game to win on the draw. Our Souls of the Lost is, this is turn 3, and like theoretically we'd be able to attack for like 16, 17 if we sack the Neonate here. Actually 18. Problem is, like, they just have the Giver of Runes. We have no evasion. I thought about playing the Adventure creature that can sacrifice. That can fling for 1 mana. And then also is like a creature, but I feel like it was a little bit more. Wonder would like largely be better. So let's finish this match, and then we're on the play for game 3, which is nice. But I'm down to drop and add one copy of Wonder over the Gravecrawler. Thud. Yeah, the adventure creature is like strictly better Thud too. It gets around counter spells, or if they counter it, you don't have to sacrifice your creature, and then it comes with adventure creature too. Lets you keep Umori. Do you feel like Trampler Enabler could work? We have a Trampler Enabler at Inti. So I don't think we need like a Teamer freaking Battle Rage or something. Okay, opponent's on the mold to 6. I will keep my 6, I think. It's nice to be able to sack the Supplier to the Souls of the Lost next turn. Yeah, but yeah, it sucks against removal. I mean, welcome to Modern. It's nice. It's nice that like removal is very good against Souls of the Lost, but like you're beyond that Vengevine, Bloodghast, Gravecrawler deck, so you have the rest of your deck is very resilient to it. Sorry, the other card sucks against removal. I see. Yes. Yes. Okay, so no cards in the graveyard that really care about being in the graveyard, but at the very least, my Souls of the Lost will be huge. Another one. Okay, cast, sacrifice a permanent. We milled over an Inti, just a 7/8. No white sources yet from our opponent. Animates Inkmoth Nexus instead of equipping Shadow Spear onto the Ornithopter. It's interesting. Is it actually better to sacrifice a land here than it is to discard the Rootwalla? Because I could just cast the Rootwalla, but if I sacrifice the land, this is going to be 9 power, 10 power next turn. Yeah, I think that is actually, it's weirdly correct to sack the land here. Not something I was really expecting, but if we can just get 1 extra permanent in the graveyard somehow next turn, I'm going to get Steam Mint so that like Hedron Crab is a live draw. Then both of these cards will be lethal attackers next turn, which seems like a big deal. Discard land. No, we want to be able to play our Delta next turn for an extra card in the graveyard. No. Yeah, we can play this next turn and sack it, which would make these 10/10s instead of potential 9/9s. Or if we can draw like Supplier, Neonate. I guess Neonate or discarding the land. But it's still two cards in yours. Crab, Inti. Does Inti do it? I guess Inti gives trample at least. But it says GG, sick deck. GG to you too. Okay, so we are 1-0 in this league, but I'm gonna go ahead and drop and add a Wonder. And I think we've probably made enough changes at this point to update the Mox field also. Yeah, I think +1 Wonder, -1 Gravecrawler seems pretty good. If you're gonna drop, why not concede that? Yeah, it might be Tutors was messaging me today saying he wanted to play Souls of the Lost. He's like, I'm gonna crack some packs for Souls of the Lost. I was like, there's gonna be an all access token. My friend. The mirror, so it's funny. Huh. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to. I feel like I'm supposed to sack the supplier instead of. I guess I should attack first. Because if I try, there's a good chance tutors just takes the trade, but then I can do both, like get rid of the supplier and discard this Vengevine. What I really like about this deck is like Souls of the Lost is a really powerful card that is like a gigantic 2-mana creature, but it's also an enabler. Like the discard / sacrifice is like just an upside. Why not discard Prized Amalgam so it can come back instead? Yeah, I guess that would have been better. I was thinking that these Prized Amalgams are castable, but it is nice to get that other one back now. JCS with a tier 1. Thank you. So, Tutor's build is different, playing Glimpse and Cruel Somnophage. Cruel Somnophage, certainly very good in the Crabvine Mirror, since it counts your opponent's graveyard too. Yeah, I have a couple Stackolite Stalker decks. Not sure what the first one play is. My opponent has 2 Vengevines, 3 Prized Amalgams, 2 cards in hand, 14, 15 power, Souls of the Lost. Definitely wanting to draw an enabler here, which we don't do, but I can go Prized Amalgam, fetch Swamp, cast Gravecrawler, get back a Vengevine. So let's say I attack with everything and I lose my Souls of the Lost. I'm getting in for 10, 12 and putting my opponent down to 2. Alright, let's do it. Yeah, where'd that Wonder at, huh? It's in the deck now. Yeah, although if Tutors finds a Wonder, I'm dead. Does not find it. My list clearly better. Confirmed. Okay. Oh wait, I don't have ley lines though. Does Tutors have ley lines? I'm bringing these Feed the Swarms and the Furies. Is the reason we play Anger and Wonder? It's not reasonable, as Anger is not legal in Modern. Is Mutt not a good enabler payoff? Maybe over Neonate. Neonate is 1 mana, Mutt is 2 mana. You have a lot of good lines with Neonate where you get to go Neonate on turn 1 into discard Vengevine and go like Souls of the Lost, discard Rootwalla. I mean, I'm gonna keep, I think. Yeah, there's a good chance Tutors is just mulliganing to the ley line here. What would break if they printed Anger to Modern? I don't know. We were talking about this recently too, but like people always ask this: Would my pet card be broken Spike if it was legal in Modern? The answer is like no. Like there's basically nothing in Modern, to be honest. Like it's so rare that any one single card in same top deck. It's very rare that any one single card ends up being broken in Modern. It takes like the format can really handle almost anything, and like most bans are just like a single card is a little too dominant. You know what I mean? But I also kind of like the idea of Modern being Modern. Like Modern is like, 8th edition onward, and they print new cards into the format that make it modern and new. Okay, mana value. Can we get Wasteland? Yeah, it's like people are always like, let's print legacy staples into Modern Spike. What do you think about that? It's fine, I guess, but like I mostly just like Modern to have its own identity. Let Legacy have its old cards, and let Modern have its new cards, with some exceptions. Okay. Let's find another Bloodghast. There's only a 4/4. I think killing this is just so good. Now it's a 5/5, I guess. Can feed the Swarm at next turn. Yeah, with the 14. Thank you. And Texas Tough with the 12. Yeah, why not Bizarre? Wish we had something that was not Wasteland that filled a similar role. We do. Like Field of Ruin decks are like pretty good and pretty popular. We have Fulminator Mage in the format. We have Blood Moon in the format. We have plenty of like land hate in Modern. Switch to Barbarian from Paladin. Baldur's Gate's way more fun. Yeah, Barbarian is so busted, especially early in Baldur's Gate 3. Oh, that's a lot of cards. This is 11 power. Fine. Third, Feed the Swarm. Kind of a weird take since Legacy is always also dominated by image staples in Modern. It just feels like you want to argue for dogs. I don't know what to say. Want to argue us for deck tech? Fair enough. So next turn, tutors will be able to go double Gravecrawler, double Vengevine. It also looks like tutors doesn't have Leyline, or like just didn't mill any Leylines in the top 20. So I'm gonna cut these Feed the Swarms probably. Are the Furies even good? They're kind of interesting. The fourth Inti is not not a very exciting top deck, unfortunately. I drew 3 Feed the Swarm, all 3 Feed the Swarms, and all 4 Intis. His deck looks so much better than yours. I mean, maybe that's the case when I keep a hand based on like tutors having Leyline and I draw quad Intis. Maybe his deck is better, yeah, we'll see. Let me play the freaking new cards though. Also, I feel like this card is not very good. I'm up a game though. Aren't we winning? I don't think so. I have to chump block this turn. I guess I was kind of winning before this Supplier though. No, I wasn't. Maybe I still am though. I'm gonna be a little short. So I have to chump. Oh, I'm still dead even with the chump. It's 11. Okay. Math still for blockers. I do like that I get to like... I don't think Tutors has Leyline, or if Tutors didn't mill 1 in 21 cards, you know, and then has game 3 good beats. We get to cut these Feed the Swarms, which is nice. I'm starting to think these... Like, the Furies are kind of nice to kill Crab. I think 4 is kind of too many. Let's go like 3 Amalgam, 2 Gravecrawler, 2 Fury. Unheart doesn't fit in the deck. What is Unheart, the 3 mana artifact that discards? Can opponent react to the targeting of attacking creature from Inti? I believe so, yeah. Cut Inti for Scolding. Inti giving my Soul's Trample seems like a big deal. I don't know that Scolding is even like good in this matchup. Like, it doesn't counter Souls of the Lost a lot of the time. Yeah, if we're talking about Unearth, like I don't typically... Well, I got turn 1 Crab. If we're talking about Unearth, I don't typically like Unearth in decks like built around 2 mana creatures. I would play the one with Aftermath that gives haste instead if I was going to play a card like that. Yeah, turn 1 Crab plus 2 fetch lands, too good to mulligan, despite not really having anything else at the moment. Inti would be a great draw, though. Souls of the Lost would be great. Bloodghast is castable. Looks like Tutors has Otherworldly Gaze. You just get Swamp. So you build a Prized Amalgam and a bunch of nothing. Could have potentially been better to save the Bloodghast. So I milled a Vengevine, drew a 1-mana creature. Stern Dismissal, yeah. Tutors seems to still be worried about Leyline. No, could not hardcast Vengevine. I think it's fine. What is this? Flashback? Doesn't seem like a glimpse. Souls. So red card could kill souls. So we milled over Vengevine. Not a lot else. I think I have to kill this now before it gets bigger. Go, Bloodghast, go. Probably wise to like sandbag almost any creature I draw here for Vengevine. Okay, just a Prized Amalgam. Interesting to decide to cast that instead of Flashback Otherworldly Gaze. Inti is... Yeah, this is one creature we're not sandbagging. So put the counter here, trigger the Inti. Our top card is a Blazing Rootwalla, which means that we're going to be able to get back both of these Vengevines, even potentially a third Vengevine. Is there where we play Kroxa? I wouldn't like despise to play a Kroxa in this deck, but I think I'd be unlikely to think it's optimal. Whose deck looks better now, chat? I don't know. Still up for debate. You're right, chat. Is this the first match? It's like the third match. We've been like dropping after every match, win or lose, and changing the deck. Demonics, yeah, maybe. What is it that Tutor's deck looks better? Is it the Otherworldly Gaze / Glimpse package over like the red cards? Because I kind of like the red cards more. Maybe not Kroxa, but Ox. Yeah, I think the Ox would likely be better than Kroxa. I don't know if you want to play. I know you want to play Ox in the Hollow and Shell. I haven't played in Crabvine before. Okay, so GG's, no Gravecrawlers in yard. Yeah, GG's. I'm on the scoreboard though. You both need more Hollow and Inquiry. Well, I have that deck built too. I kind of want to try that next, honestly. Just kind of get additions as Karn targets. Hand's kind of bad against Burn. It seems like what we're up against. You just kind of have to fetch Shock twice, unfortunately. If we consider dredge cards, Neonate can trigger early. Lots of discard enablers. It's only good with Neonate, I think. I don't think it really... Dredge cards really work very well. We don't have any other, like, draw. Souls of the Lost is probably our best card in this matchup. And it kind of seems worse than Helix Pinnacle. Well, at least it'd be an artifact. But yeah, having Shroud is nice. But either way, it's like the problem with those decks is not like, oh, they bolt the Inti. I think that's good news. For the most part, like, you're not just like dying to have more win conditions. It's not like the choke point. Okay, so attack here, discard Vengevine. Exile top card, counter on the Bloodghast. Top card is a Stitcher Supplier, which is maybe the best pickup we could have had. We do have to pay 2 life to cast it down to 8, so we could die to Boros Charm plus Burn Spell, but it gets me my Vengevine back. Which is maybe going to let me have lethal next turn. So I'm going to get 1 more point of power from the next Inti trigger. Oh, sorry, excuse me, I have stomach cell. Gurgly. We also have a Gravecrawler. We're not quite able to get this other Vengevine back. If we can, we have mini top decks that allow us to cast it, including like any black fetch for a swamp for the amalgam. Oh, they have Boros Charm Burn Spell. So close. Theo with the 10 months, thank you, welcome back. So let's bring in Sheoldred's Edict and Stern Scolding for their Sanctifiers. Maybe we don't have to bring in both, but you know those cards do seem kind of tough. Something like this. I think Amalgam and Gravecrawler are the weakest cards. I feel like cutting them is fine. Any thoughts of some kind of Spell Singer combo with Inti? I mean, as far as combos, I don't think you should try to combo with it, but you can try to build a more value focused Inti deck. Yes. Spell Singer. Spike, what do you think about Spell Slinger? Combo Inti. So that sounds like a lot of words that don't really mean anything. Wonder seems unnecessary. Just funny because the whole chat's like, Spike, add Wonder. Add Wonder. Wonder is great. I think the Wonder's good. I'd even go as far to say as Wonder may be necessary. Oh, in this matchup, you mean? I think no. The Wonder can get you over Sanctifier. Wonder is like a blue creature that you can mill and like fly over a Sanctifier. Isn't that like relevant enough to keep? Yeah. I think sideboarding more Wonders could be good though. I agree with that. Like against Yawgmoth and Hammer, like seems like a very important card. Let's go, dude. Fuck you, Sanctifier. Not today. Inti's pretty nice here. So I'm going to shock to have another Scolding up. So we have a mill over. If I mill over a Vengevine, we probably have to Vengevine this turn. We don't, though, so we have the luxury of just playing Inti. And we get to get in with the Crab. Play another one. We all know you have it. And you know I shocked in a land, so you know I have Stern Scolding. Is this bait? This is bait for sure. It's not bait. Path my Inti. Trigger the Hedron Crab. Mill a Vengevine. Maybe we're getting bolted here. Are getting bolted, okay. Alright, I'm not tapping out of the Scolding. We'll be able to bring our Vengevine back next turn. I think I'm pretty happy to block since they have to cast 2 spells to trigger prowess. If they're casting 2 spells, I probably will have wished that I blocked, right? Starting to think they weren't sandbagging another Sanctifier though. Okay, we're down to 5. Happy that we blocked, or happy enough. Go Gravecrawler. Gravecrawler, get back Vengevine. And then kind of have to leave the Vengevine back so we're not dead to a single burn spell. They just have the 2 burn spells now. Good beats. Definitely interested in Soul Cauldron Red Sack deck. I worked on a little bit with like Carrion Feeder and Lot Troll. Haven't actually got it working. Yeah, I do think that you can have when it Souls of the Lost slot really well into Asbel Fulminary Cauldron deck you played a while back. Yeah, we'd be fine there. I mean, to some extent, like I don't know how interested you are in like just giant random creature in that deck, and you may be like a little light on things to discard, things to sack. Ooh, could be Storm, could be Belcher. Yeah, I think I'm also getting pretty like interested in the Hollow One build over this one. It looks a little bit better. And having green for like Back to Nature is pretty nice. I think Souls would be great in Reanimator. Maybe. And I wonder if you know what it means. Okay, so 2 amalgams, no crabs, not yet at least. They got flying though. Could be a Hayashi deck. I think a deck that's a deck like this that's mulling to 5, keeping a 1-lander at this point is just definitely Belcher. Could be dead next turn if we don't. Somehow, I guess it's probably not even really possible to deal 20 here, huh? I think I'll just thin. We can bring back Bloodghast next turn potentially with them already being at 20. 1 Vengevine. 2 Vengevines. And so our Bloodghast will have haste next turn. If we discard, which we will. Yeah, I think there's a good chance we're getting killed right now. Ritual, Ironcrag Feet, Belcher. Makes sense for them to have everything if they're keeping a 1-lander. They do have everything. Is Creeping Chill just bad, like against the idea of the deck? It's okay. Like the problem is it only works with Crab. Like it doesn't work with the discarding stuff. You need to be playing like the build Tutors was playing with like the self mill. We don't have enough self mill for it. Okay, anything juicy they're playing? The one of Offer You Can't Refuse, main deck, Pact of Negations. Okay, definitely a bad matchup for Wonder. Not ready for Belcher today. Literal nothing. Is flying ever relevant? Flying is never relevant. Edicts are never relevant. I weirdly think the most relevant card in our sideboard against Belcher is Umori. Magus cuts off Recross. I mean, they have treasures and they have Manamorphose. I guess it's probably a bit more relevant than Umori. Yeah, like I agree this card's not very good against them, but I just have 15 blanks in the deck. Okay. You can keep this. What's in the tank on their keep? It does feel like having a Soul of the Lost is really important for matchups like this. You can just kill them pretty quickly. But we kill on turn 4 on average. And they're like a turn 3 deck, so it's just kind of a tough matchup in general. Classic Modern. Okay, they seemingly F6 through their first turn. Moon effects are actively good for Belcher. Yeah, again, I know we have just a pile of dead cards in the matchup. Think go straight black red. Replace crab with something else. Crab is your best enabler. Right? Cutting crab for some like there's nothing else. You know, faithless looting still illegal. Why don't you mill them to less than 20 cards so they can't belt you out? Sounds way easier said than done. And like much better to try to kill them on turn 4. I wouldn't mind, but one crab is not going to mill them for 40 cards by turn 3. Maybe if I double crab, we'll go for it next time. Oh boy. Alright, Hollow 1 time. Yeah, so I wasn't sure if Souls of the Lost would be a good fit for this shell. But I do think after